All right, we're back with the Screen Team right here on today's Talk 930 KWOC and 93.3 FM. We're being brought to you today by Whitworth Gift Chest Jewelers, where Walmart is next door to us. Also, Fearless Social and the folks over at Poplar, Bluff Drywall. We rock. Remember, you can check out the Screen Team on our website at www.screenteampb.com. That's screenteampb.com. You can check out all kinds of cool stuff, what we're reviewing. You can check out past reviews on there and so much more. Our final film today with Jake is a movie called The Age of Adaline. This movie was released last weekend here in the U.S., and it's a epic romance fantasy film directed by Lee Toland Krieger, and it stars Blake Lively and Harrison Ford and Ellen Burstyn. Now, Jake, when you first mentioned this film, I was like, Age of Adaline. I don't know about this, but after seeing the trailer, and it kind of had like a Benjamin Button kind of vibe to it, and then it had like Harrison Ford in it. I'm like, all right, man, I'm on board. So,
yeah.
First off, what did you think about the plot of this movie?
The plot, that's kind of part of it that intrigued me. Kind of at first glance when you first read a synopsis about it, it's like, well, it's a romance movie. But it interested me with the plot of it is Blake Lively's character, Adaline, of course.
Mm-hmm.
She's born in 1908, so she's a 29-ish. 29-year-old woman, and
she stays like 29.
Yes.
She's not like faking her age.
No, she's not faking her age. She truly stays 29 forever.
Yeah,
and
every woman's dream.
Every woman's dream. That's true. So, a youthful 29. I think one of the synopsis I read said. Anyway,
yeah.
Well, she is married, or the love of her life is a construction worker, and they live in San Francisco, and he's working on the Golden Gate Bridge. He's part of the construction crew of that. Unfortunately, there's an accident, and he dies in the accident, and that kind of puts her in, I guess, a little bit of an emotional spin.
Mm-hmm.
And she's out driving out on some country roads in the San Francisco area. California gets a rare snow, and she's out driving in this and crashes into the water and hits that water, and essentially she dies. But there is a lightning bolt, I guess, that acts as a defibrillator.
Oh, wow.
And brings her back. And later in the movie, it spins a scientific explanation of why she didn't age and why she remains ageless. And the movie's really, it kind of jumps forward from there and jumps into present day. She had a daughter with her husband before he died, and before, essentially she had her mystical or magical event, and so she has heart-to-hearts with her daughter from time to time, who is in her 80s at our present day, 70s or 80s, and
played by the talented Ellen Burstyn.
Mm-hmm, and yes, and it kind of flashes back and forth throughout from present day to past times in her life, dealing with different issues.
And Harrison Ford is like an old flame of hers.
Yes,
is that right?
An old flame of hers. So it's bouncing back and forth. In the 50s, she kind of gets in trouble during the Red Scare. She kind of gets in trouble with the government. And the way she makes money is interesting, and doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It would if it was a time travel movie, but
right.
She invests in certain companies, and then she hits the same bank and changes her name on the bank account every 10 years.
Really?
It just makes a big withdrawal to make money, because it's really hard for somebody who on paper and whose social security number says they're 108. You know what I mean? In present day. So somebody looks 29 and it says they're 108. So she, I guess, deals with a lot of the struggles, and of course, pretty much stays away from any kind of emotional contact or any love interest, knowing that she doesn't age and they will.
Right.
So,
Blake Lively,
yes.
She's Adaline. She's the main star in this film. Are you a fan of Blake's? Have you seen any of her other stuff?
If I have, I don't know.
You never saw Gossip Girl?
No, did never see Gossip Girl. So.
What about the Green Lantern? Were you a fan of that one?
Didn't see Green Lantern either. So this is maybe probably I guess my first Blake Lively role I've really watched. You
Okay.
know?
You think she did an okay job?
I think she did an okay job. I think the movie plot wise just didn't reach its full potential.
Mm-hmm.
There's narration in this movie, and there's not very many movies that can do narration.
It's hard
throughout. It's hard to pull that off. I think the movie was a golden effort, and I think there was a lot of high hopes for the movie, but I think there's just a combination of some different things that make it a little bit disappointing. It wasn't quite the movie it could have been, I guess, because it is a very interesting story, and you know, and it kind of hops into I hate to compare it to it, but it almost hops into that Twilight love interest kind of thing where you know, you've got the forever young person, and you know, and having a love interest, and you know that person's always going to outlive any children they have, and
right,
and always going to outlive their love interest or husband or wife or whatever. So it makes for an interesting story. I think the execution was just a little off, but you know, I wouldn't call it terrible.
All right, so this next question's a stupid question, but I've got to ask anyway. Harrison Ford, what do you think about Harrison Ford?
Harrison Ford's good in just about every movie he's in, even if it's a bad movie, you know?
He makes it good.
He makes it good. I mean, any you know, late 70s actor who makes a habit of crashing airplanes and walking away from it like it's no big deal.
That's a man's man right there.
That's a man's man. So I don't know if it's just the Han Solo thing or the Indiana Jones thing, but I've always just been a big fan of Harrison Ford, and he can act with, you know, he can say a lot without speaking. He's really good at facial acting, and he just has a certain swagger about him too.
Yes, he does.
That just makes any role he's in work. So Harrison Ford, I think his part was good in the movie.
Oh, cool. The movie is called Age of Adaline. It's still in theaters, but probably not for very long because you got all the blockbusters coming out right now.
Yes,
so if you can't check it out in theaters, definitely check it out when it comes out on DVD. Jake, thanks for coming in the studio and doing this film noir series of films. Man, we appreciate it. We look forward to your next showing on the Screen Team.
All right.
Next week is my birthday show. It's the Chris Berger birthday show.
All right.
That's right, man. And I picked 3 movies that I've wanted to see for a long time that came out last year, and getting the chance to do so. We'll review Let's Be Cops. We'll be doing that with Kyle. Then Sabrina and I will be reviewing the cartoon Penguins of Madagascar. And Brittany McKay and I will be reviewing The Imitation Game with Benedict Cumberbatch. So that's coming up next week. So want to thank our sponsors once again, Whitworth Gift Chest Jewelers, Fearless Social, and Poplar Bluff Drywall. For Jake and Chris, we are the Screen Team on Today's Talk 930 KWOC.